Hey, good morning. This is Catherine, the Big Vision Coach, and welcome to the Daily One Command. This week, we are focusing on one main idea, and that is to claim your treasure. And this is day two. If you are watching this on YouTube, I can get your comments right away here in the live stream. If you are watching by um, Facebook or Instagram, please be sure and like that StreamYard app. It's wherever you may see the description of today's call. Be sure and like it so that I can see any questions or comments that you may have because I really want to know um, your response to this. If you're getting this, if this is valuable to you, please let me know. And especially my YouTube friends, but if you are watching this by replay, here's what I need you to do: hit hashtag, the little hashtag sign, replay, and put your comment. Let me know um, what you're getting out of this. I'd really love to see how this is landing with you. So, what are we doing? We are talking about claim your treasure. Well, first, let's talk about what the heck are we talking about with our treasure, right? And the treasure is the thing that we are seeking. It comes from inside of us. It's not outside of us, but we have this journey. There's something that we're seeking so that we can have the fulfillment of ourselves, the fully realized version of ourselves. Okay. And all the hero journey stories, all the treasure hunt stories, there's always this moment that, someone has a life, there's a big challenge, there has to be a decision, and that the hero has to go on the journey and to search for the treasure in order to fulfill their destiny, their obligation to save somebody. It must be done. And in the journey, they meet the dragons and the challenges and the bad weather and the crooks and the villains. They meet all of that, and they have to keep rising up to it. And then, ta-da, they get the prize, they get the treasure, and then there's the journey home, and then there's that one last thing that happens, as in all good stories, that is just about that moment that you may lose it. And yet the hero saves the day one more time and then takes that gift back home. And then the desire, the wish, the um, challenge is met and fulfilled, right? Well, what happens along the way? There's something unique within the hero that was always there that needed to rise up. Now, it may have been expressed before, it may have been a gift, but there was always something that was just waiting to be discovered within the hero. Um, I keep coming back to, I'm going to show my age. I showed this movie to my granddaughter the other day. She thought it was wonderful, like I thought it was wonderful first time I saw it, and it was Romancing the Stone with Kathleen Turner, right? Who's a romance writer. And so she has this passion, this desire, this big belief about not only romance, but a life fully lived in adventure, right? But she really wasn't living that in her little teeny New York apartment. And she was pouring it all out onto paper until in the story, um, she gets a mysterious message from her sister who's in danger, who's in South America, and of course, she loves her sister. She's going to go down and save her, and even just getting out of New York and everything that she has to face in order to save her sister becomes a whole other journey. And along the way, she winds up getting everything and more that she ever dreamed about and wrote about and thought was possible or wished was possible, right? And so this is part of what we're talking about. But our treasure is not outside of us. Our treasure is, of course, within us. But our ego says you've got to go out, you've got to go do the thing in order to have your due, right? And we go, yes. Well, did I just tell a story about that? She, the hero in the story, Kathleen Turner, Joan, um, she had something in her that needed to express. She needed to leave her comfort zone. This is true. But what the ego will do is it will make you trade off, trade off, trade off. It will sell your gifts, your talents. It will trade your time. It will um, tell you that it's not worth it, that no one really cares. It tells you all these lies. And so what we're tuning into is our treasure. And how can we truly honor it? How can we connect to it, right? Not just tune in, honor it and connect to it, and then allow it to express through us. Because life is going to challenge us. Life is going to demand more from us. And if we want to rise up and out of our situation, out of our current level of reality, we have to be prepared to meet those challenges. But as we connect to our treasures and also it aligns to our values, as we do that, our innate skills and abilities, courage that we didn't even know we had, just things that we didn't know that we could do, will show up brilliantly and perfectly in the moment. I don't want to detract from this, but I remember someone attempted to kidnap me. I'm a very large lady, and that's like, this was a pretty audacious attempt, okay? But the person pulled a gun on me and had this whole other story. And it was very strange because I did not get afraid. I became instantly alert and I started talking to this person. And I mean, in fact, the story is funny, because he says, I'm going to take you, I'm going to do this, and you deserve it, and I'm like, oh, okay. And what came out of my mouth was my weird sense of humor and my ability to talk and my survival instinct. And I went, great. I finally meet a nice guy, and he turns out to be a rapist. Just my luck. And he's like, he was so stunned. And then I went on and started just talking about my terrible dating life and everything else. And he got so distracted by the conversation, I started giving him driving directions to my house, the apartment complex I was living at. And then I actually had him believing that I was a person of another name, that we made a date. And he let me out of the car. And I got there just in time as I saw some people I knew, and they walked me home, right? I don't even know how I did that, but my treasure, my ability to communicate and connect with a person's secret desire and speak to that desire saved the day. My treasure. Okay, so I hope that didn't trigger anybody, but it will show up at the right time. But let's roll all this back. Let's roll this back for a second. Let's look at the lens that we want to command through today. Your treasure, your perfection is within you already. But to claim it, you must leave the busy commotion of the mind and abandon the desires of the ego and enter into the silence of the heart. The beautiful Elizabeth Gilbert, this is the same lady who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and a lot of other wonderful books. And she talks about creativity a lot and how to honor that creativity, because this has really been her journey. She loved travel, and she had to express as a writer, as a creative person. And she made the decision to be supported by her gift. Right now, in our world, and this has been going on probably, I got into personal development in the late 90s, just because I was in so much pain, but there was also something else that I wanted to express. I was having these experiences with people. I'd had a lot of wounding because of putting myself out there, and yet this thing in me had to express. Okay. And in that journey, in meeting that, I had to learn how to create a space for it and how to value it. And the conversation that I started having was, I'm working really hard. I'm giving a lot of time and energy. I'm trading my life for a paycheck. And I was trading my life to people who didn't respect the work that I did for them, even though I made them a lot of money. At the time I left apartments, I was an apartment manager. And I had a lot of days that were 12, 14-hour days. It was expected. It was demanded. I was on salary. And the goalpost was always moving. And the longer I was in that industry, the wages and benefits started shrinking. Like after being in that industry for 20 years, I was actually making less at the end of my career, even though I was delivering more value, even though I had way more skills. Yeah. And that's what we're seeing today. Good morning, David. Good morning, Jody. And a lot of people are making that decision. They're going, I don't want to trade my life. I don't want to trade my time, my energy, my gifts just for a paycheck for someone else to benefit. That's why we're having the great resignation. And even back then in the early 2000s, I was thinking about this idea about the business of you. Whatever you're doing for a job, you're actually in business for yourself inside that job, because it is about what you're doing to support your life, right? And what values and skills and results you're bringing to other people. I remember getting really clear about that. And so when I made the leap out of apartments into first working with Asara, and we went to California and we were professional psychics, but people would literally say to me, well, if you're a psychic and this is a gift from God, why are you charging for it? How dare you charge for it? You should be doing this for free to me, with me. Not only was I wasn't just laying out cards and saying this is what the cards read. I was trained as a hypnotherapist and a coach, and there was a lot going on in these sessions. I was an energy healer. So there was a lot of healing and transformation happening. And yet there was somebody each and every week that said, who do you think you are? How dare you charge for this? And tell me how little they thought about me. In my office, after they had paid to have a session with me, right, would argue with me and try to demean me and put me down. And I would just very nicely hand their money back to them and say, thank you very much. Please don't call me again. I was so clear on the value. In fact, I would use this example. There was two main things I would say. I said, one, as a healer, as a prophet, as a teacher, as a person of transformation who is bringing value, the electric company doesn't care. The electric company will not let me come lay hands on their employees. They demand payment. So I'm going to ask for payment because I pay for lights in this office, right? I'm also glad that I don't have to wait till my doctor gets off of her day job so that I can go see her in the evening, right? I'm really glad for that. And then the other, I asked, do you believe that there are some people who have their ability to sing is transformative and it can change lives? And they go, absolutely. Do you think that's a gift from God? Absolutely. And at the time I said, how many albums, how many CDs do you own? How many concerts have you paid for? And they're, okay. They're going to, I get it. Because there is a cost to being you. It takes a lot of training, even if you have a natural gift like I do. It took a lot of personal development work, a lot of healing, a lot of ways to not only understand how to create transformation in my own life and how to hold a space for others, but everything that it takes to support that space, for me to be supported so I can support that space for people. It takes a lot. And so I have to honor and respect my treasure. I have to do it first before others will. So I want to invite you to make a statement today. I've got it on the bottom banner here. And you may not know what your unique treasure is, right? But you know what you treasure. You know there's something that you're naturally interested in and you can't help but express it. Think about Joan in Romancing the Stone. This had to come through her until it became her lived experience. Even though you may be working in your chosen field or your business, I believe that the reason you're here today or watching this at whatever time that you are, that you know that there's something greater within you that not only do you want to express, but you want to experience. That you know this. And right now, the current circumstances in the world, it's really easy to get distracted. It's really easy to have beliefs, and we have our life experiences and our biases. And that's why it's really important to know how to tune into yourself, believe in yourself, love and respect yourself. We hear that all the time, but how can we do that? I want you to make this statement that I have below out loud. Read it out loud. And I want to say it for the sake of the recording. I am a treasure. I treasure my gifts and abilities. And I am seen as a treasure by others. Breathe into that. And all three of these statements, you may want to say it again. I'm going to say it again for you. I am a treasure. I treasure my gifts and abilities, and I am seen as a treasure by others. Be present to that after you say it out loud. Be present to what you're thinking and feeling. Is there anything in you that feels like that is not true? Was there any reaction? Did you have a, God, I wish that was true? There's literally very few reasons why you would be feeling this to be true, this statement right here. Because the world did not tell you this. It's unlikely your family told you this. It's unlikely bosses and employers told you this. And some of your clients may tell you this, but those are not the same people. The people who are giving you lip service may or may not be the same people who are paying you for this. So even if you believe this is true, would you like to know this to be true at a deeper level? Oh, Lenora, I know. It hurts. It hurts. So this is what our command's going to be around. I don't know how. I know that I am a treasure. My gifts are treasure. So I'm going to make a command around all three of these, okay? I don't know how. I know that I am a treasure. I don't know how. I treasure my gifts and abilities. And I don't know how I am seen as a treasure by others. I only know I am now and I am fulfilled. That format of that command, do you hear how we had three different statements that were linked together? That's called a stacking command. And I teach about this in the Commanding Wealth program. There's actually different types of commands. And this is a key piece to, one, owning your gift, your uniqueness, your skills, your abilities, honoring them, and giving it space to express, giving yourself permission to go after whatever it is that you want, need, or desire in order to fully experience and express that gift of your treasure. I'm going to say it one more time so that you have it. I know people like to write these down. I don't know how. I know that I am a treasure. I don't know how. I treasure my gifts and abilities. I'm going to add and experiences. I don't know how. I treasure my gifts, abilities, and experiences. I only know I am seen as a treasure by others now, and I am fulfilled. Let's go for it. We can go through the 6 steps of the one command. So right now, Just take a breath and become present to your body, and picture, visualize, or imagine that you're like a tree. I think a tree is like a perfect representation of a treasure. We take trees for granted, don't we? But if you ever tune into and are really present to a tree and think about all the things a tree actually does for us, and how we have this perfect symbiotic relationship between our breathing in, breathing out, support, and everything that trees provide for us, my darling, you are even more valuable and more precious than a tree. And so now just feel your connection to the earth and the earth's connection to you. And just become aware of that creative life force energy starting to come up through your feet, into your knees, into your hips, all the way up your spine, into your shoulders, down your arms. Oh yeah, that tension in your neck release, into all the teeny muscles in your face and scalp, and all the way down your arms and your joints and the wrists, and all the way to the fingertips. Just let that creative life force energy come right in. And now I'm going to invite you to bring your attention to your heart and that treasure in your heart. And isn't it interesting, that treasure, those gifts, those skills, those things that are uniquely you, there's no part of you that is not that. It's just a matter of awareness and acceptance. So right now I'm going to just invite you to become aware of the treasure that is you. And you may have some judgments about your past experiences, about how you might show out sometimes, how you might act up and act out sometimes. But nothing, there is nothing, no thought, image, or idea, nothing in the past, the present, or can ever arrive in the future that can separate you from this truth about you. That you are a treasure. And now I'm going to invite you to become aware of your connection to Source, because it's always there. And with your eyes still closed, remember to breathe. Very lightly, just roll your eyes up as if you're trying to look up through the top of your head. And that instantly takes you right into this field of pure, open potential. And we're going to silently, you can follow along out loud or quietly. So I'll say this slow enough that you can follow along. Eyes closed, eyes rolled up. I don't know how. I know on every level of my being, in every experience that I've ever had, the truth that I am a treasure. I don't know how. I truly treasure my gifts, abilities, and experiences. And I don't know how I am known and seen by others as a treasure. I only know I am now, and I am fulfilled. And we're just going to let that go. Let that idea go. Let that expand out to an idea even greater that served more good in its fulfillment. You're literally expanding your consciousness. Just let it go. And as you come back down into your body in this awareness of being in your beautiful, amazing body, Begin to actively receive in gratitude this greater knowing and understanding. Bring in the healing and the restoration. And as this comes in, is this greater state of being a treasure, of knowing you're a treasure, of the freedom to express yourself as a treasure and being known as a treasure and safe in that knowing. We're just going to let everything just start to unwind, unwind, unwind. Let all those old ideas, those old judgments, those old biases, the old way you told that story in the past, let it go. And now, just allow this new idea about what it means to be a treasure and connected to your treasure, to do whatever it takes to support and develop and honor that treasure, to protect that treasure. Just let all that start to rewind and integrate. And just for a moment, just keep your eyes closed. And we're going to just check back in on this statement. I am a treasure. I treasure my gifts, abilities, and experiences. And I am seen as a treasure by others. What do you know now? What feels true now that maybe didn't feel true before? Or does this feel truer and you feel it at a deeper level? Is that yeah, but, or I wish, that negative thinking, is that gone now? What are you aware of? This is definitely a writer downer. I encourage you to make sure that you're using the action sheets and be thinking about right now your chief aim. What is it you're actively working on? What is your big goal? Do you want to have a more successful business? Do you want to have better relationships? Do you want to have a greater self-esteem or worthiness? How can connecting to your treasure and aligning to it and honoring it, how is that going to help you achieve your goals? And we always say that 7th step is inspired action, and be ready for that idea, the inspiration or opportunity. Just go for it. But another way to think about that is, what will I be able to have, be, or do from this state of being, being connected to and honoring my treasure? And that's how we think about it. That's how we grow. So think about this for the next 24 hours, however long. We're going to be talking more about this week. And we're even going to be tuning into, like when we do the Commanding Cash-a-thon, we're going to be really doing commands around this treasure. How there's all the cash you want, need, or desire to support the fullness and freedom of your treasure, the expression of your treasure. Okay, my love. Oh, thank you, Lenora. I appreciate you too. All right, my friends. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Until next time, this is Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach, and I witness your mastery. Bye-bye, everybody.